On today's show, it's worst case Ontario. The Senators fall behind 3-0 after another overtime loss, this time in Ottawa.
And the NHL is looking into a warm-up incident involving Nick Cousins and Anthony Stolarz.
This is Brady Tkachuk, and you're listening to the Locked On Senators podcast.
You're Locked On Senators, your daily podcast on the Ottawa Senators. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome. You are locked on to the Ottawa Senators, the only daily podcast covering the Sens. On the outskirts of enemy territory, I'm Ross Levitan, alongside Brandon Piller in the shadows of the CTC. Today's episode is brought to you by Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONNHL for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Today is Friday, April 25th, and Pilsy, close only counts in horseshoes, darts, and hand grenades. The Senators fall back-to-back in overtime, and it's looking pretty grim, my friend.
Yeah, this is tough times being down 0-3 to our provincial rivals, the Toronto Maple Leafs. And Ross, I think it's especially painful that the last two games have been this close. Like, I think if we were just getting blown out of the building, it'd be like, okay, well, clearly we're outmatched here. But the Ottawa Senators, in my opinion, at least, and Leafs fans are probably going to eat this up, but I don't feel like they're outmatched in this series. When you take two games back-to-back to overtime, you're right there. You're one goal away. Like, the Sens are two overtime goals away from this being a 2-1 series for Ottawa. I mean, I know that sounds crazy since we're sitting here down 0-3, but in reality, if those two overtime periods go differently, this whole series is flipped on its head. But that's if, ands, and buts are nice to deal with. But we're in reality here where the Ottawa Senators don't find a way to get it done in either of the overtimes, including one at home last night. And they face a tall task ahead of them here.
Yeah, a minute and 19 seconds into overtime, Simon Benoit, just a point shot. And that, I feel like, is another storyline in the series, is Ottawa's point shots haven't been able to get through. Toronto's doing a great job of blocking them. And then all of a sudden, in overtime, it's the defensive defenseman who, I mean, we might have to shed that title for him because he rushed the puck up for the overtime goal in game 2 as well. He just fires one on net, great traffic in front. Ullmark said after the game he didn't see it at all, and all of a sudden it's 3-0. Ottawa with no shots in that overtime either. Toronto had 2. I like the first save that Ullmark made, got the whistle, and then it's right afterwards. It's in the back of the net. So super unfortunate from that standpoint, but overall, this team, they're not going to go away. They're not going to quit. I really, really hope that Senators fans don't sell their tickets for Game 4, knowing that it could be the final game of the season. They need to pack that barn the way they did because it was electric. You were in the building. Lyndon Sluage was at his absolute best for the anthem. And just unfortunate that they weren't able to finish it off, especially after Brady Tkachuk tied this game with under 9 minutes to go in the third period after allowing a goal 32 seconds into the period. Beautiful goal from Matthews off a unreal pass behind the net from Mitch Marner. So the elephant in the room at this point is, even though I didn't think that was an Ullmark loss per se, we're starting to get a bigger sample size here. In 3 games in, he's got an .815 save percentage. And if you look at it at 5-on-5, Pilsy, throughout the series, the save percentage is 86.2. So an .862 save percentage for Ullmark and a .949 save percentage for Anthony Stolarz. You can break everything down, but one goalie's making saves, the other one isn't.
Yeah, and I mean, it's as clear as that. There's not really any way we could try to spin zone it differently, Ross. Now, I will say I'm not putting the last 2 losses on Ullmark, but he gave his team a chance to win, but he was not the better of the 2 goalies in any of these 3 games, clearly. That goes without saying. And it's tough to, Ross, because the Leafs, they've had this guy's number in the playoffs, even going back to his days in Boston, right? Like, they chased him out of the net and Swayman took over. So Ullmark's got to find a way to exercise his playoff demons up against the Toronto Maple Leafs, and it starts tomorrow night, and he's going to have to do it not only on Saturday, But if they get the win Saturday, then you got to keep going. Game 5, game 6, and game 7 for this team to have a chance.
Let's just win a game. Let's just win a game.
Yeah, I mean, it starts with that. But if you get that, then you're going to have to be like, okay, I can't just be lucky or can't just have one good game if we're going to survive here. He's going to have to really go back to his mid-season form where we saw him carrying this team and having extended win streaks with multiple shutouts. That's the Linus Ullmark we know is there. We just haven't seen it in the postseason.
That's 6 straight losses in the playoffs for Linus Ullmark. And that's really the only stat that matters in the playoffs. It's not how it happens. It's finding ways to win, which is why, despite the analytics maybe in some areas favoring the Ottawa Senators, it's not enough when you're not getting victories. So super unfortunate there. As Pilsy mentioned, there's no real other option. They're going back to Ullmark. They're living and dying by him, and changing it at this point in the series. I know a lot of people in the comments last night were saying, put in Levi Merelainen. It's cute to say, but it's not going to happen realistically in this series.
And nor do I think it should, Ross. Yes, it's a desperate times, call for desperate measures. You're down 3-0.
So Carter Yakimchuk's in?
Yeah, I don't think that's going to happen either. But I think it sends the wrong message in the room, and it changes the dynamics of this team and how they're set up if you decide to go from Linus Ullmark to Levi Merelainen. And Levi Merelainen only has 1 game of AHL playoff experience. So I think it would be a lot to ask of him to come in here. Now, I know he's been thrust into big situations in the regular season before, and he's played spectacularly, but I just think it would be too much, and it wouldn't be the right move, in my opinion, to make the switch here.
So what else did you notice from last night being in the building that you'd like to see the Senators do more of in Game 4?
Well, I thought they did a good job of playing physical, Ross. Just looking at the hits here. Yeah, like 44 hits. And the Leafs had 37. We're talking about math guy, 81 total hits in this game. Like, this was a physical game, and both teams brought it. I know not everyone's happy with Drake Batherson's game lately, but I thought I could really notice that he probably saw that video of the flyby on Max Domi, and the coaching staff said, hey, that's not going to fly in the playoffs. You got to figure that out. Just like remember when Alfie got behind the bench and Mark Kastelic did a flyby, and Alfie right away goes up to him and tells him. I'm sure a similar thing was said to Drake there, because not only was he finishing his checks, like, it wasn't like, you know, when you finish your check, you're just like, okay, I'm going to make sure for the video tomorrow it's shown that I'm finishing this. No, he was putting a little extra oomph into them, and he was hitting hard. We saw the Tyler Clevin reverse hit behind the net. He was looking like Nicholas Kronwall there. I thought Brady was playing a physical game. Timmy was throwing hits. Like, this was a physical game for the Ottawa Senators, and I would like that to continue. I mean, the Leafs' bread and butter is their top-end skill, and then Stolarz playing well, which has clearly worked for them 3 games in a row here. But I think the Sens' bread and butter is playing a physical game, being hard on the forecheck, and then finding ways to get pucks to the net, and then out-battling the defensemen in the slot, like not letting them box you out, getting those rebounds, and finding ways to bury it. So I think the Sens process and their game plan is going all right. And I think that's why it's got to be frustrating for Travis Green to sit there and do his post-game pressers being like, I know it sounds like a broken record, but I feel like we played good again tonight. And then the reporters are like, well, you're down 3-0. Like, what? Like, what do you mean? So it's tough, but I don't have a lot to nitpick about this team, which is extra frustrating, being 1 game away from elimination, possibly being swept here. That's why I said I think it'd be easier, easier if the Sens were getting blown out. Then we'd be frustrated. We could be mad. We could be pointing out all these things, but that's just not the case.
Yeah. I'll point out one thing, though. Ottawa now in back-to-back games has gotten barely any action in the third period. Only 2 shots on goal last night in the third period. They control possession, but the Leafs did a great job keeping them to the outside. And they got a 50% shooting clip in the third with Brady scoring the goal, but that's just not going to be enough. And then you look back at Game 2, they got outshot 9-4 in the third period. And the goal, the first shot of the period, that Ottawa scored the Adam Gaudette game tying goal was 6 minutes left, basically. So it was a situation where for the first 15 minutes of each period, each third period, there was no offensive oomph to their game. There was no desperation. So there's got to be urgency to the game now. There's no backup plan if they lose on Saturday night. So let's see.
And that's fair though, Ross, but also look, the Leafs only had 5 shots in the third period, right? So it was just a tightened up game. It's not like the Leafs were on an offensive flurry either. They scored 30 seconds into the third, and then it was kind of just a tight checking back and forth neutral zone battle after that, right?
Right. But when you're trailing, you're going to have to push for more offense.
Definitely. No, I'm not trying to justify that the Sens only having 2 shots in a 20-minute period when you're trailing is okay by any means. I'm just trying to paint the broader picture that at that point, the game had really tightened up for both teams.
Yeah, it had. And now the Senators find themselves down 3-0. We've got quite the story brewing this morning. Darren Dreger and Elliot Friedman saying the NHL is investigating Nick Cousins. And we got video of it, so we'll get our takes out on that. And do you believe in miracles? Now, are we talking about winning the series or winning a game? That's next. You're listening to Locked On Senators, your team every day.
Today's episode is brought to you by our friends over at Amazon Fire Stick TV. Did you know your Fire TV is also an Xbox? Turn any TV into your gaming and entertainment hub with Fire TV Stick 4K devices. No console required. Just grab your paired controllers, subscribe or sign in to Xbox Game Pass Ultimate with EA Play included, and you're ready to play. Dive into hundreds of premium titles from EA Sports College Football 25 to Call of Duty Black Ops 6 and Avowed as easily as you stream your favorite shows. It's gaming made simple, and it's all on your Fire TV. You got endless entertainment with 4K streaming. Watch more than 1.5 million movies and TV episodes from your favorite subscribed services like Netflix, Prime Video, Disney Plus, Max, and more. I got an Amazon Fire Stick myself. I use it to watch sports, Sportsnet, MLB apps, so much more. And it allows me to play Xbox exclusive games like Starfield. So head to Amazon.com/Fire TV Locked On to get started. Amazon Game Pass Ultimate subscription and compatible controller required. Available on select devices, including Fire TV Stick 4K 2nd Gen, Fire TV Stick 4K Max 1st and 2nd Gen, and Fire TV Cube 3rd Gen.
Today's episode is also brought to you by Club EG, our friends who seem to do everything in the golf world in Ottawa. Whether you're a male, female, junior, senior, good golfer, or you suck like me, doesn't matter. At Club EG, they've got something for you. You can purchase a membership and play over 60 great courses that Club EG partners with. You can join a golf league, go on a golf trip, or play in the Ottawa Sun Scramble, a 2-person scramble championship. It's completely up to you which path you take with Club EG. Check out clubeg.golf online for more information and to learn about so many great options that will get you swinging the sticks more often this summer. With 60 great courses through Club EG, you have so many options. And as mentioned, their tournaments, leagues, and trips are all top-notch. You do not have to be a member to take part in any of their events, leagues, or trips. But if you want to become a member to play their 60 great courses day in and day out, go check out the early bird special at clubeg.golf. All right, Pillsy, the Senators lose 3-2 in overtime for a second consecutive game. They trail their best of 7, 3-0. And not even Craig Anderson could save them. Craig Anderson rings the bell, gets everybody fired up before the game. Saw the Pajot chants he started as well. I could use Craig Anderson in playoff form last night.
Yeah, that would have been great, Ross. We have fond memories of Andy just shutting the door in the playoffs, making 40-plus saves multiple times throughout multiple series. It was great that he was there, Ross. And I feel like Andy usually is kind of a shyer guy and isn't really doesn't love the attention, but he was loving it, ringing the bell. He was calling for the crowd to give him more. So I really enjoyed seeing Andy there and love that he kind of took advantage of his moment there.
Yeah, love that. I just want to address the postcast last night as well. Obviously, it was Troll City in the comment section by Leaf fans. And people who know the postcast know that we vent or we vibe in the postcast. That's what we do. It's all based on emotion. So definitely don't regret anything that happened with that. And I felt like the Senators fans that saw postcasts at 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning after a loss on the West Coast of the Anaheim Ducks, they didn't deserve to be trolled in the comments. So I'm just standing up for my guys, Pilsy.
Yeah, and that's fair. I think, though, Ross, Leafs fans have called the league to complain about how you acted there because it was just clearly unacceptable. And they're very upset about that, and they can't handle it. So you may have a podcast suspension coming from the big heads at Locked On Podcast Network. So look out.
That's a little foreshadowing there for our final segment. But Pilsy, do you believe in miracles? 4 times in National Hockey League history, a team has come back from down 3-0 in a best-of-7 series. The 1942 Stanley Cup Finals.
We all remember that.
The 1975 Stanley Cup quarterfinals, first-round action between the Islanders and the Penguins. And get this one. The 2010 Eastern Conference Finals, the Philadelphia Flyers and Claude Giroux came back.
That one I do actually remember, all jokes aside. That was a massive moment because it hadn't happened in so long and we were old enough to kind of be around for it. So that one I vividly do remember.
And the final time was the first round in 2014 where the to-be Stanley Cup champion LA Kings were down 3-0 to the San Jose Sharks. So it's overdue. But you know what? I'm going to focus on winning a game in this series so we can hear the flutes on the postcast. And actually, it feels like you don't really make the playoffs until you win a game, right?
Yeah. And Ross, we've gone through all the kind of milestones. We had our first playoff postcast. Didn't go well. Tough loss game 1. Then we had our first playoff overtime postcast. Another tough loss. Didn't go well. Then we got our first home playoff postcast. Again, overtime didn't go well. We held on to the cliche, you're never out of a series till you lose at home. Okay, well, this team's now lost at home. You're down 3-0. We're looking at other teams that have come back from down 3-0. Ross, 211 teams have faced a 3-0 deficit. And only 4 that you just mentioned there overcame the deficit. That's sitting at around a 2% chance. There's 2 questions, Ross.
Okay.
You asked one of them. Do you believe in miracles?
Okay.
My answer is yes. I do believe in miracles.
Of course.
But the second question, Ross, which you didn't get into, do you believe in collapses? Because for these things to happen, Ross, yes, there has to be a miracle, a team winning 4 straight games. But look on the flip side of that. There has to be an utter epic collapse for the other team to lose 4 straight after you've won 3 straight and had a team on the ropes. So it's going to take both of those things to happen. Only 4 teams in 211 times have done it. But if I'm the Ottawa Senators fan base, I'm at least glad that the team that we need to have an epic collapse has had a history of having epic collapses before. Now, am I saying it's going to happen? No. Easy Leafs fans clipping this, tagging me, calm down, chill out. All I'm saying is...
Yeah, we don't have social media anyways.
Yeah. There's two dominoes that have to fall, and it could happen. It could happen.
It could. This Leafs team's pretty good.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like, I don't think, Ross, like some Leafs fans that were in the chat in the postcast were trolling, being like, how could you think the Sens have a chance against this Leafs team, blah, blah. I don't think we've downplayed the skill of this Leafs team. I think we've just kind of...
They're a much better team than they have been in the past.
Yeah,
and
definitely.
I look at the back end as the number one reason why. Like, they had guys like Tyson Barrie, Cody Ceci. Like, I would love to play against those guys. Now they've got 3s on the back end.
Hey, Cody Ceci up in his series. Don't throw disrespect Cody Ceci's way here.
Okay.
But I think, Ross, they figured it out. I think over the years they tried to get those offensive defensemen, and the mindset was, okay, let's get the guys that can get the pucks to our forwards. And those didn't work out as well as they had hoped. Even like John Klingberg, they tried getting in the mix there too. Like those guys didn't really work out. Where
Timothy Liljegren was on this team,
earlier
this season.
Yeah, or like Rasmus Sandin, like those types of players. I think they've now switched their strategy to like, okay, let's just have big brick walls on defense, and then sometimes the best offense is a good defense. You play good defense, that's going to generate the offense, and that's worked for them. Now, not to say that the Leafs defensemen can't generate offense. We've seen Simon Benoit make a couple nice plays, Oliver Ekman-Larsson, Morgan Riley has 2 goals, so I'm not saying they're not capable of doing that. I'm just saying their focus has shifted to a defensive focus rather than creating offense, and it's worked out for them. But the point I was trying to make before, Ross, was we've just been pointing out how close the Ottawa Senators have been here, and close isn't good enough. They're down 3-0 here, but I don't think we've downplayed or thought that the Leafs weren't a formidable opponent at all throughout our whole coverage here.
Throughout the series, yeah, obviously we had some banter before the series, having some fun with it. Obviously, it'd be crazy not to, but yeah, they're built for the playoffs right now, and for Ottawa, it's about getting a seed of doubt, because Jamie McLennan told us on this show last week, the longer the series goes, the more it favors Ottawa. Well, it has the opportunity to be the shortest possible series if the Senators can't win tomorrow night, but obviously we'll be dialed into it. You'll be at the rink tomorrow, and we just hope Senators fans go to the game, be loud. There's a true home ice advantage. Don't show defeat before the final game.
And that's the mindset you have to have.
The players will feed off that energy.
Yeah, you got to take things one game at a time here. You can't be looking ahead. You can't be down on the past. You got to just take what's in front of you. You got to live in the present, and the fan base has to show up. Like the energy and the vibe that's set, I think, is going to have a big part in how this game goes. And it being Saturday, it being a possible game where the Leafs can eliminate the Sens and get the sweep, I think we're going to see a lot of Leafs fans trying to get to this game and being willing to pay a pretty penny to do it. Sens fans, hold the line. Do not sell your soul. Let's all be there. Let's get the first win of these playoffs. Let's enjoy it.
But will Nick Cousins be there for Game 4? The NHL has him under investigation. We'll tell you why next. You're listening to Locked On Senators, your team every day.
Today's episode is brought to you by our friends over at Game Time. The NHL playoffs are here, and if you've never been to a live NHL playoff game, it's unlike anything else. Take it from me. I just had my first NHL game in the playoffs last night. The intensity, the speed, the energy in the building, it's next level. And thanks to Game Time, getting in the door is easier and more affordable than ever. I actually had a citizen, Ross, come up to me and say, Pilsy, thanks to your code on Game Time, I got in the game. I was happy to hear that. Glad a Sens fan was able to take advantage of that. Game Time is the fastest way to grab playoff tickets, even for those must-see matchups. Battle of Ontario, the stakes are high. Prices actually drop as puck drop gets closer. And with last-minute deals, you can actually save up to 60%. And not just for sports, guys. Concerts, comedy, theater, and more. Turn on the all-in pricing feature so that you see the total cost up front. No surprise fees at checkout. The app shows you panoramic seat views, so you know exactly what you're getting before you buy, although there's not a bad seat in the house at the CTC. And with Game Time ticket coverage, I know I'm protected. Whether it's cancellation protection, job loss assurance, or their 24-hour return guarantee. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONNHL for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, that's code LOCKEDONNHL for $20 off. Download the Game Time app today. Last minute tickets, lowest prices, guaranteed.
All right, Pilsy, so it is do or die on Saturday night. We'll have the postcast for you. It'll be a little further after the game. Pilsy's going to man that one, and we will have it for you as soon as possible. We'll keep you updated on the YouTube page when that becomes available. Pilsy, out of all the peculiar stats in this series, the Senators' penalty kill just being absolutely inefficient. They've got a PK of 44% in this series. 44%. That's not going to cut it. But I think to me, and it's directly resulted in 4 goals.
Yep.
Imagine telling someone that the Ottawa Senators would be dead last in the league in face-off percentage in the playoffs.
I would be very surprised, Ross, especially because their face-off percentage in the regular season was very good. I'm looking at it right now. This is the playoffs. I was like, what? They're 18th?
Fourth.
Yeah, they were 4th in the regular season. Yeah, that was a humbling experience there, being on the playoffs face-off percentage.
Now the Leafs were second. The Leafs were at 53.7. The Senators were at 53.1.
Yeah, that's what I wanted to highlight too. It was a 0.6% difference. And then the 2 New York teams, surprisingly, are in between those teams there, or first and third, I should say. But yeah, the faceoffs have killed them. That would be the one stat, well, along with obviously the special teams, but the faceoffs would be the one
goals.
Stat. Yeah, but the goals aren't that far once you take the first game out, right? It's been 2 overtime games.
Yeah.
So having the faceoffs just fall off like this has really deteriorated what the Ottawa Senators have been able to do.
And obviously it becomes a storyline when Matthews snaps it back off of Shane Pinto off the draw, and it's in the back of your net. And a bipartisan tweet I mentioned on the postcast last night, but like, why is everybody getting kicked out of the faceoff dot? It makes no sense to me, but that's neither here nor there. The crux of this segment is Nick Cousins being investigated by the National Hockey League. First, it was the most coy, I know something and I'm not telling you what tweet I've ever seen from Darren Dreger, saying that, I want to read it actually, it's that wild. A twist in the Battle of Ontario with allegations of pregame shenanigans last night. Sources say the NHL is looking at an incident in a warm-up prior to Game 3, undetermined whether the league discipline will follow. Okay.
That makes it sound very serious, like it was a physical altercation, or like some sort of like the Leafs equipment manager like loosened the blades of their skates or something like that.
Yeah, like they put clear tape under their skates before warm-up. So then Garriock quote tweeted it. Scoop said, at one point there was some pucks being lobbed by the Senators in warm-up. I saw Stützle stop a puck near center ice. Found it odd, but didn't think anything of it. And then Dreger quote tweeted and said, source indicates this is the incident in question. Sends players firing pucks at Stolarz in warm-up, making it sound like they're taking slap shots down all the way in the ice. And then leave it to Elliot Friedman to actually get the video of the situation, working at Sportsnet. They're the rights holder. And this is the biggest nothing burger I've ever seen. 2 former teammates, Anthony Stolarz is doing his pregame ritual right by the red line, making eye contact with Nick Cousins, who just takes a little wrist shot on the ice, right at him. I shouldn't even say right at him. I think it missed because Stolarz didn't react at all to the situation, and then he just peeled off. So I guess we're losing another first-round pick, eh?
Yeah, like when I saw the video of that being the incident, like, yeah, we talked about it. Dreger's first tweet makes you think it's something serious, and I was like, I didn't notice anything. Like, I don't know what that could have been. And then you hear it's firing pucks at him. So I thought like Stolarz was like doing his routine in the net and they're taking clappers at him, which is not cool. But when you see the video and it's like a pass towards the direction of Stolarz that, I don't know, maybe hits him in the pad, like the fact that this is getting brought up and being talked about so seriously.
I've seen putts on a golf course go harder than that.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, if there is consequences
firing,
from this, then this league is a joke. Like, that is just, especially the fact that they're former teammates that played together last year. So, like, these guys are probably buddies, and it was just like a friendly, like, hey, like, keep your head up, keep your head in the game. I don't know, like, just trying to get in his head, or just like a greeting. I don't know, like I don't even know what to call this. It's so inconsequential that it's almost not even worth talking about, but it's worth talking about because it's being looked at so seriously.
Our friend Johnny Lazarus, who's in the States, says that he covers the New York Rangers. He's at every single game. He says he's seen it about 50 times so far this year. in warm-ups. It is the biggest nothing burger ever, but at least it's a distraction, and we can talk about something else other than being down 3-0 in the series. If anything comes of this, it will be the most laughable thing, and even more of a joke than the Sens PK in this series.
Yeah, and I would love to know the process of how this
who made the call?
Yeah, this serious allegation got brought to light. I would love to know the guy that thought, hey, I saw this. This is unacceptable. We got to talk about this. That guy better be talking about Stolar's tape job at the end of his stick too. My God.
Yeah, or Austin Matthews snapping Ridley Gregg's stick on the bench. Like, this is gamesmanship. And watch, Hagel's not going to get anything for blowing up Alex Barkov away from the puck last night.
Oh, I missed
amazing. He got 5 for it. But hilarious. I don't really have much else to say about it. It's that much of a nothing burger.
Yeah, that's it.
We had to touch on it though, because it was in the news this morning, and we'll keep you posted on Twitter at Sens Central if anything else comes from it. Hey, remember in the Stanley Cup Finals, Johnny Lazarus is mentioning this, where Ovechkin tapped Fleury's pad in warm-up, and then Fleury literally chased him across the ice. And then later on in warm-ups, gave him a whack across the red line.
And there was no suspension or anything from that.
No,
right?
Nothing.
Yeah.
No, just gamesmanship.
And those guys respect each other, Ross. If you'll remember earlier this season for Marc-Andre Fleury's last game up against the Capitals, the Caps all went off the ice, and Ovi's saying, hey, no, get back here. Let's show Marc-Andre Fleury a probable Hall of Fame goalie, an all-time well-liked, respected guy in the league. Let's show him our respect that this is his last game and shake his hand. So, that's the thing. You can have gamesmanship and play these little games while also having utmost respect for your opponents and competitors.
Yeah, so blocker to the back of the head, nothing, but a little putt-putt in warm-up to a guy who is staring right at him. Look, if Stolarz is looking away and it gets him in the head, different story, obviously.
Yeah.
It didn't. It wasn't even close. So that's all I have to say about that. Pills, any final thoughts on today's show?
Final thoughts is I got to see a win tomorrow, Ross. I need it so badly. I don't know what I'm going to do if my 2 long-awaited playoff home games at the CTC are an overtime loss and a series elimination sweep to the Toronto Maple Leafs. For my mental health and emotional well-being, I'm pleading. No, I'm begging the Ottawa Senators to find a way to get this done. Leafs fans are all over the hotel I'm at. It's just a constant reminder. I want to just put down all the blinds, shut down all the lights, and just have a sad day kind of.
Get a tub of ice cream into you?
Yeah, exactly. So I would like for the vibe to change on Saturday night, but it's one of those things, Ross, where sometimes the environment sets the mood, and that scares me because I'm pretty sure it's 100% supposed to rain all day Saturday. The ambiance and the foreshadowing of that could be very, very terrible for Ottawa, and I'm hoping that's not the case.
Yeah, me too, buddy. Me too. If you're gonna have a tub of ice cream to yourself, what flavor are you going with?
And for me, the most important thing is the ratio of chunks. I don't want just a plain ice cream flavor. I need the chunks in there. Give me cookie dough, brownie, pretzel, peanut butter, chocolate chips. I want, with every bite, Ross, I need a little bit of crunch to chew on. No free ads, but Ben & Jerry's, they usually do a good job of getting lots of chunks in there. So I'd probably go with something like that.
Rocky Road for me.
Yeah, that's a good one. You're getting chunks with the rockiness there.
Or, and this is the most caloric option ever, but a good milkshake, man. Just throw it in the blender.
Yeah, and Ross, a little tip for you: put a little protein powder in there. It makes you think it's good.
Oh, and a banana.
Yes, or what you love to do, just a little bit of spinach, and now it's healthy.
Yeah, exactly. Hey, don't knock the spinach in a smoothie, not for a milkshake, obviously. But
no, but then you can call it a smoothie, Ross.
Oh, true.
You've now crossed the line where it's now a smoothie, not a milkshake.
Well, let's see if the Senators can cross the line of no wins in this series. We'll be back tomorrow with the postcast. Thank you so much for being along this ride. Hopefully, it's still got games to go. We will be back for that. Enjoy your Friday. Try not to think too much about the predicament that the Sens are in. there is a playoff game in Ottawa tomorrow night. Imagine
Yes.
telling yourself that at the start of the season. So enjoy the moment, and thank you for making us part of your daily routine, making us your first listen each and every day. The everydayers, the citizens, we appreciate the hell out of you. Thank you for watching, listening, engaging, and subscribing to the show. Be a friend, tell a friend about LOSP, and if you enjoyed the video, hit the thumbs up below and leave a comment down under the video. For Brandon Piller, I'm Ross Levitan. This has been another edition of the Locked On Senators podcast, your team every day.